Mazie's hours would kill most women. She works 7 days a week, seldom taking a day off, and is usually on duty from 9:30 a.m. until 11 p.m. Her cage is not much more spacious than a telephone booth, but she long ago learned how to make herself comfortable in it. She sits on two thick pillows in a swivel chair and wears bedroom slippers. In summer, she keeps an electric fan aimed upward on the floor, replacing it in winters with an electric heater. When the weather is especially cold, she brings her dog, Fluffy, an old wheezy Pomeranian bitch, to the theater. She lets Fluffy sleep in her lap, and this keeps both of them warm. Mazie makes changes automatically as she breathes. She finds time for many domestic chores while on duty. She mends clothes, puts red polish on her fingernails, reads a little, and occasionally spends half an hour or so cleaning her diamonds with a scrap of chamois skin, of chamois skin. On rainy days, she sends out for her meals, eating them right in the cage. She uses the marble change counter for a table. Once, hunched over a plate of roast beef hash, she looked up and said to a visitor, "I do light housekeeping in here." When she gets thirsty, she sends an usher across the street to the King Kong Bar and Grill for a cardboard container of beer. She used to keep a bottle of Canadian whiskey, which she calls Smoke, hidden in her cash drawer, but since an appendix operation in 1939, she has limited herself to celery tonic and beer. There are two cluttered shelves on one wall of her cage. On the bottom shelf are a glass jar of jawbreakers, a kind of hard candy which she passes out to children, a clamshell that serves as an ashtray, a hind leg of a rabbit, a stack of paper towels, and a box of soap. When a bum with an exceptionally grimy face steps up to buy a ticket, Mazie places a couple of paper towels and a cake of soap before him and says, "Look, buddy, I'll bargain with you. If you'll take this and go in the gents' room and wash your face, I'll let you in free." Few bums are offended by this offer. Most of them accept willingly. Occasionally she gives one 15 cents and sends him to a barber college on Chatham Square for a shave and a haircut. If she is in a good humor, Mazie will admit a bum free without much argument. However, she says she can tell a bum by the look in his eyes, and ordinary citizens who have heard of her generosity and try to get past it outrage her. "If you haven't got any money," she tells such people, "go steal a watch." On Mazie's top shelf is a pile of paperbacked books, which include Old Gypsy Nan's Fortune Teller and Dream Book, Prince Ali, 5-Star Dream Book, and Madame Fu Fuddum's Spiritual Magical Dream Book. Mazie is deeply interested in dreams, although at times she seems a little ashamed of it. She sometimes says, rather defiantly, "A dream just means you eat something that didn't agree with you." Nevertheless, she makes a practice of remembering them and spends hours hunting through her books for satisfactory interpretations. Also on her top shelf are a rosary, some back numbers of a religious periodical called The Messenger of the Sacred Heart, and a worn copy of Spiritual Reflections for Sisters by the Reverend Charles J. Mullally as Society of Jesus, which she borrowed from an Italian nun, one of the daughters of Mary, Help of Christians, who conduct a school in Chinatown. Lately, Mazie has been reading a page of this book every day. She says that she understands hardly any of it, but that reading it makes her feel good. Mazie is not a Catholic. She is Jewish, but has been entranced by Roman Catholicism for many years. One of her oldest friends in the neighborhood is Monsignor William E. Cashin, director of St. Andrew's, the little church back of the municipal building. She frequently shows up for the night workers' mass, which is said every Sunday at 2:30 a.m. at St. Andrew's by Monsignor Cashin. She sits in a middle pew with her head bowed, surrounded by policemen, firemen, scrub women, telephone girls, nurses, printers, and similar night workers who regularly attend the mass. She feels at home. On the way out, she always slips a dollar bill into the poor box. Now and then she calls on the Monsignor and has a long talk with him, and whenever he takes a walk on the Bowery, he pauses at her cage and passes the time of day. Mazie also knows two Mothers Superior quite well. The rosary she keeps in her cage is a present from the Sisters of Our Lady of Christian Doctrine, who run Madonna House, a settlement on Cherry Street. Sister Margaret, the superior there, has known Mazie for years and has made an attempt to understand her. On the Bowery, it's probably an asset to have a reputation for toughness, Sister Margaret once told a friend. And I'm afraid Mazie tries to give people the worst possible impression of herself, just for self-protection. She isn't really tough. At heart, she's good and kind. We can always count on her for help. A few weeks ago, there was a fire in an Italian tenement near here. One of the families in it had a new baby. It was late at night and we didn't know exactly how to help them. Two of the sisters went to Mazie and she came right down and found the family a new flat and gave the mother some money. Mazie's favorite saint is St. John Bosco. There is a statue of him in a niche in the steeple of the weather-beaten Church of the Transfiguration in Chinatown. At night, the saint can be clearly seen by the light of the galaxy of neon signs on the chop suey joints which surround the church. When she passes through Mott Street, Mazie looks up at the saint and crosses herself. I asked a sister once if it was okay for me to give myself a cross, and she told me it was, Mazie says. Mazie became interested in Catholicism in the winter of 1920. A drug addict on Mulberry Street, a prostitute with two small daughters, came to her cage one night and asked for help. The woman said her children were starving. I knew this babe was a junkie, Mazie says, and I followed her home just to see was she lying about her kids. She had two kids, all right, and they were starving in this crummy little room. I tried to get everybody to do something, the cops, the welfare, the so-called missions on the Bowery, the Methodist run, or whatever the hell they are. But all these people said the girl was a junkie. That excused them from lifting a hand. So I had seen two nuns on the street, and they went up there with me. Between us, we got the woman straightened out. I liked the nuns. They seemed real human. Ever since then, I've been interested in the Catholic Church.